Viewer discretion is strongly advised. This story is shared for educational and entertainment purposes only. What follows is the sworn federal courtroom testimony from the Sean Diddy Combs trial, as reported by Inner City Press. When Jamie Foxx entered the courtroom, no one expected what he was about to reveal. For months, rumors had circulated about a mysterious medical emergency, cryptic Instagram posts, and silence from close friends. Whispers suggested someone was trying to eliminate him. But now, under oath and before the world, Jamie was ready to speak. He named names. He described what he witnessed at Diddy's infamous parties. And he exposed a dark truth hidden behind the glamour of the industry's most powerful figures. With a steady voice and trembling hands, Jamie declared, "This wasn't just a health scare. It was a warning, and I survived it." What followed was a chilling testimony filled with secrets that were never meant to be heard. He spoke of missing footage, hush money, and cryptic threats. Stay quiet or you're next. This wasn't a conspiracy theory. This was Jamie Foxx's truth, arguably the most explosive moment of the entire trial. Jamie wore a tailored black suit. His face bore the weight of everything he had endured. The courtroom was frozen in anticipation. This was his first public appearance since his mysterious hospitalization. Not in a press conference, but on the witness stand. "They told me not to come," he said calmly. "They told me if I talked, I wouldn't make it to the courthouse." His voice didn't waver, but the gravity of his words filled the room. He looked directly at the jury. "I've already been through hell. If I don't speak now, I may never get another chance." Jamie then described what happened before the so-called medical emergency. He had begun to notice a pattern. The same black SUV, no license plates, showing up in different cities. "I knew I was being followed. I just didn't know why." A few days before his collapse, he recalled a disturbing encounter on set. A man he didn't recognize demanded $35,000, claiming to possess incriminating footage from a party. "I didn't know what the footage showed, but I knew who had sent him." Jamie called the police. The man was removed. But the message was clear. Someone wanted leverage. Someone wanted him silent. In the weeks leading up to his collapse, he received anonymous messages from strange numbers with threats like, "Don't forget who made you. You've seen too much." He brushed it off until an email referenced his daughter by name and her school. That's when it became real. "I told my people, if anything happens to me, don't call an accident. And if I go down, make sure the truth doesn't." His tone wasn't emotional. It was precise, controlled, like a man who had rehearsed this moment for months. "I almost died," he said, "and not from a stroke or some medical condition. I almost died because I knew too much and I asked the wrong questions." He then described what happened the morning of his collapse. He awoke disoriented, unable to speak clearly, with intense pressure in his chest and neck. "I couldn't move my arm. I couldn't talk. I was trying to ask for help, but no words came out." His security team rushed him to the hospital. The doctors weren't sure what was happening, possibly a stroke or seizure. "But I knew it wasn't natural," Jamie said. While he was recovering, he kept his circle small. Even his closest friend were left in the dark. "Because I didn't trust anyone," he admitted. "While I lay there, being scanned and tested, I realized this wasn't over. It had only begun." Police visited him in the hospital, not just to check in, but because someone had tipped them off. The word poison was mentioned, not by Jamie, but by someone who had overheard him speak to his doctor. "I feel like I was given something," he had told them. Tests came back inconclusive, but he wasn't convinced that meant nothing had happened. You don't need hard proof when your body screams it was attacked. During his hospital stay, Jamie's phone disappeared. So did his personal journal. Even the security footage from his home the night before his collapse was wiped. "My team tried to access it. It was gone. Erased." Then he added quietly, "I felt like I died. And maybe that was the goal." The courtroom remained silent. The jurors were riveted. So, when people asked why I didn't post a hospital selfie, Jamie said, "It's because I wasn't going to pretend I was fine when I knew I'd nearly died." Then he said the name that would dominate headlines. Sean Combs. Puff Daddy. Diddy. Looking straight ahead, Jamie said, "That's who I believe wanted me silent." Over the years, Jamie explained, Diddy invited him to countless private events. At first, they were just lavish parties, famous faces, champagne, music. You know how it is. But eventually, the invitations became more secretive and more disturbing. No phones, NDAs, not just about what you saw, but about who was there and who was with who. He said the energy was unlike anything he'd ever experienced. There were back rooms, velvet curtains, people being led into shadowy corners. And I saw people I recognized, politicians, athletes, actors, doing things they would never want the world to see. Jamie insisted he never participated. It felt wrong, and I wasn't going to get involved. But that, he said, was the real danger. When you don't play the game, you become a threat. He ended by revealing that after he declined an invitation in 2022, someone close to Diddy warned him, "You're acting brand new. You're forgetting who helped you out early on." That's what someone told Jamie. He brushed it off at first, but soon began feeling the pressure from mutual friends urging him to stop talking about certain things in interviews. They didn't like that I joked about the parties or mentioned certain names. Then, he described a particular moment that stuck with him. He saw a well-known male artist leave one of Diddy's parties looking visibly shaken. This dude was trembling, Jamie recalled. He said he saw something in a back room that made him never want to return. The artist never spoke publicly, but Jamie never forgot. He feared he might be next. As his testimony for the day came to a close, Jamie left the courtroom stunned with a final sentence. "If I didn't speak now, I'd become part of the silence. And silence is what they've used to control everyone. But I'm done being quiet." He leaned toward the microphone, voice lowered. "This is the part that's haunted me for years." He referenced a light-hearted interview clip that had gone viral, one where he joked that Nick Cannon had slept on his couch at 13. "It was funny at the time," Jamie said. "But when I looked back, I saw the truth. Nick wasn't just crashing. He was escaping. Nick had confided in him about strange, uncomfortable encounters and being introduced to the industry in disturbing ways. He told me, 'You saved me, man. Your house was safe.' That stuck with Jamie. But what came next made the courtroom freeze. Jamie claimed several young artists, boys and girls, had passed through Diddy's homes over the years, some of whom mysteriously vanished from the public eye. You look back and realize they weren't rising stars. They were collateral. He wasn't just accusing an individual. He was suggesting something systemic, an entire network of exploitation. And powerful people knew and said nothing. Then Jamie paused. "Now I'm going to say a name, and I want everyone to listen carefully." His voice cracked. Kim Porter. She wasn't just Diddy's ex. She was a mother, a businesswoman, and she was scared. Jamie said Kim confided in him at a private event just months before her death. She pulled him aside, without a smile, without small talk. She said, "Be careful who you trust, Jamie. There are people watching us." Kim told him she planned to speak out, either to a journalist or a federal contact. "I've seen too much, but now I'm tired of being quiet," she had said. And then, just like that, she was gone. Kim Porter's 2018 death was ruled pneumonia. But Jamie, like many others, never accepted that. She was healthy. She was active. She was afraid. That's not coincidence. He brought up Kim's ex, Al B., sure, father of one of her children, who made cryptic social media posts after her passing. He said she was murdered. He said she should have called the FBI. Then he edited the post, like someone got to him. Al B., sure, later reached out to Jamie privately. He told me he didn't feel safe, that things in his house had been moved, that someone was watching him breathe. Jamie listed other sudden deaths connected to Diddy, Evie D., Andre Harrell. They're gone, and the only thing they had in common, besides Diddy, is that they knew too much. He also revealed that two of Kim's closest friends told him she had kept a journal, documenting conversations, events, names. That journal hasn't been found, Jamie said, and I don't think it was lost. I think it was taken. This was the moment the prosecution had been waiting for, a bridge between suspicious deaths, a frightened woman, and a powerful man with the means to cover it all. Then Jamie ended with one final, devastating line. Kim was ready to talk. And now, I'm talking for her. The jury leaned forward. The courtroom fell silent. Jamie then spoke about the night that changed everything. It was early 2022. I got a last-minute invite to a private event in Beverly Hills. He wasn't planning to go, but a friend convinced him. Just drinks and music, they said. Casual. It wasn't. He described arriving at a massive, luxurious mansion, the kind of place billionaires use for weekend getaways. Security was tight. Phones were confiscated. At first, nothing seemed out of place. But something fell off. The music was too quiet. People whispered instead of laughed. It felt like a funeral wrapped in Versace. He recognized faces, athletes, rappers, executives, and others he didn't know, but who clearly had power. The place was dimly lit. Candles, drawn curtains, and then the hallway. They called it the Gold Room. Someone told him that's where the real networking happened. Jamie didn't enter, but he glanced through a gap in the curtain. There was a boy, couldn't have been older than 17, surrounded by men in suits. He didn't look okay. Jamie turned to leave, but a hand grabbed his shoulder. "Stay, Jamie. You're one of us now," someone said. He looked the man in the eye. "No, I'm not." And he left. That night marked the beginning of a new nightmare. The threat started almost immediately, he said. Phone calls, anonymous DMs, warnings to shut up or end up like the others. He ended that part of the testimony with a chilling realization. That night, I knew this wasn't paranoia. This wasn't Hollywood being weird. This was something else. Something evil. And for the first time in public, Jamie said what he had carried since that night. I saw it. I wasn't supposed to, but I did. And I'll never forget it. He gripped the witness stand and began what he called the cover-up phase. After that night, he started documenting everything. I saved texts. I asked my team to track the SUVs following me. I installed extra cameras at my house and even on set. But the most disturbing detail came next. The morning after my collapse, my entire home surveillance system was wiped. No glitches, no warnings, just gone. His team thought it was a technical issue until they found the hard drive melted. He showed the court photos. The casing was warped like it had been exposed to extreme heat. But it didn't stop there. On the set of a film days before his collapse, production had grown chaotic. Cables rerouted, light sensors covered. One night, he tripped over a cable that shouldn't have been there. I laughed it off until I collapsed 2 days later. He asked producers for footage, behind-the-scenes hallway cams, anything. But once again, corrupted files. The final red flag? The footage from the night of the $35,000 extortion attempt vanished. Jamie looked out across the courtroom. How is it that every place I go, cameras stop working, files disappear, evidence vanishes? That's not paranoia. That's a pattern. He then revealed that an anonymous crew member had sent him a screenshot, an email thread labeled Fox Fire Protocol. It included bullet points, clear recordings, control narrative, prevent on-set leaks. The production company denied it. Jamie didn't. It confirmed what I feared. They were preparing for me to disappear. When asked why he hadn't spoken out sooner, Jamie replied, "Because I thought I could get better. Move on." But the more I uncovered, the more I realized this wasn't about healing anymore. This wasn't just about justice. This was about survival. The courtroom sat frozen as Jamie continued. His testimony had transformed into something deeper, a confession of how close he had come to never telling his truth at all. I stayed quiet because I was scared, Jamie said, plain and direct. Because when you're up against people with billions of dollars, private jets, and friends in every major media outlet, what can you really do? He admitted that after his hospitalization, he was offered a deal, a non-disclosure agreement, sent through a third party. It promised millions. They told me it would secure my future, that I could retire comfortably, he said. But the moment he read it, he understood what it really meant. Silence. Forever. That's the game, he explained. They don't have to erase you if they can by your silence. Jamie revealed that a close friend, still working in the entertainment industry, begged him not to testify. They said, "You'll never work again." His answer was simple. "Then I'll do something else. But I won't die with this truth inside me." What changed everything for him? Watching Cassie Ventura take the stand. I saw her shake, but she didn't break. And I thought, if she can do it, I have no excuse. He also credited Al B. Sure, Jaguar Wright, and others who had dared to speak out even when it wasn't safe. But most of all, he pointed to Kim Porter. She died, trying to protect her children. I lived. So now, I have a responsibility. Jamie admitted that he still fears retaliation. Strange cars park outside his gate. A friend who helped him collect evidence was mugged recently under suspicious circumstances. But if I die talking. And that's more than most people ever get to do. Then he locked eyes with the judge. This court may never convict Diddy, but I needed the world to hear this. I need it on record, with cameras rolling. His final words weren't rushed. He turned toward Diddy, sitting just feet away, whose face remained unreadable. I was your friend, Jamie said. I defended you. I laughed at the jokes. I came to the parties, but I saw too much. And you knew it, and you tried to scare me into silence. His voice didn't rise, but the force behind it filled the room. You tried to erase me, and when that didn't work, you tried to distract me. But I'm still here, and now you have to sit there and listen to what I saw. He turned to the jury, then to the courtroom gallery. This man, Jamie said, pointing at Diddy, is not just a mogul, not just a celebrity. He's part of something darker, a system built on silence, a culture that trades souls for secrets. Then he shifted his focus toward the industry itself. Hollywood didn't just protect him, it promoted him, while people like me, Cassie, and Kim were left to pick up the pieces in private. He called out award shows that continued to honor Diddy, magazines that labeled him a visionary, executives who knew the truth but stayed quiet to protect their profits. And finally, Jamie addressed the shadows behind the curtain, the silent watchers, the enablers, the ones who thought no one would ever speak. You build an empire on NDAs, baby oil, fear, and manipulation. But empires like that, they crack. And when they do, they fall fast. He stared directly at Diddy one last time. You told people I'd never talk, that I was too scared, that I owed you. He paused. Well, I don't owe you a damn thing. I owe it to myself to tell the truth. The courtroom held its breath as Jamie stepped down from the stand. He didn't look back. He didn't have to, because the silence was finally broken.